we might get to actually witness a supernova in the year 2022. This is something that has actually not been witnessed by human eyes, like, ever. It is estimated that an event like this only occurs in our galaxy only every 10,000 years. According to a group of researchers in Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, a binary star system will likely merge and explode in the year 2022. This binary star system is one that the professor and his colleagues have been monitoring since 2013. This is actually a historic event. It allows astronomers to witness a stellar explosion for the first time in history. And what's more is that they claim that this explosion will be able to be witnessed here on Earth with the naked eye. They claim that the merge of these two stars will cause an outburst so bright that it will be the brightest thing in the night sky. Seeing these stars explode is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
You be careful what you wish for, because Pangaea is coming back. Throughout its 4.5 billion years of existence, the Earth has formed 7 supercontinents. This is my favorite. This is the supercontinent of It existed about 3.1 billion years ago, and it looks fucking stupid. But there is an 8th supercontinent on its way, and it's scheduled to make its debut in about 250 million years. This continent will be called Pangaea Ultima, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to come to be. 10,000 years from now, humanity has burned itself out, and as our ivory towers return to dust, the cataclysmic effects we've had on the planet begin to heal. Our blink of existence was so inconsequential that our memory is quickly wiped from the face of the Earth as time marches on. 25 million years from now, the northward push of Africa has wiped out the Red Sea and turned into a sandy mountain range. Changes in Asia have stopped the Himalayas from rising, and they begin to erode. 50 million years from now, California begins to erode into the sea, and Alaska begins to move downwards. Meanwhile, the progression of the African continent into Europe has resulted in a large mountain range and has completely eliminated the Mediterranean Sea. 75 million years from now, Alaska and Russia connect, giving every anthropologist heart palpitations. 100 million years from now, the Earth looks like this. Forgive this part, I couldn't find a clean screenshot. The landmass from under Antarctica has started to move north into semi-tropical waters. Australia has decided to go hang out with China, and a new chain of islands is forming between Madagascar and New Guinea. Now is where it gets really fun. 150 million years from now, Antarctica has almost collided with Australia, India, and China all at once. Fortunately, we have broken off from Alaska, and the mountain range caused by Antarctica moving forward has fused with the top of the continent. Meanwhile, in the other half of the world, North and South America have divided from each other, and South America has become a chain of peninsulas. Meanwhile, Florida is thankfully gone, and California has fixed its drought problem. 175 million years from now, this section of Indian Ocean starts to become an inland sea, and the Himalayan mountains, which once dwarfed every other range on the planet, are now about the size of the Appalachians. 200 million years from now, and the Atlantic Ocean is close to being gone. The encroachment of landmass at the top and bottom of the sea, as well as this chain of newly formed islands, means that it is almost disconnected from the rest of the world's oceans. Meanwhile, the shattered remains of the Asian, Australian, and Antarctic continent have formed this impressive chain of islands. 225 million years from now, the once mighty Atlantic Ocean has become an inland sea. As these continents close, this inland sea will become a toxic wasteland. Meanwhile, a similar phenomenon begins to start here as the Indian Ocean is cut off from the now world-encompassing Propanthelastic Ocean. And finally, 250 million years from now, the supercontinent of Pangaea Ultima, or Pangaea Proxima, is formed. This small sliver is what remains of the Atlantic Ocean, and the remains of many of the world's continents can still be seen, such as South America's western, the Indian Peninsula, even the southern part of Australia. But the part I want to direct you to is this. This was once the Indian Ocean, but unfortunately, as the South American peninsula begins to move up, it will be cut off from the rest of the world. Now, this thing is massive. It almost looks like the same size as South America, and it will rapidly evaporate, and it is likely to become so toxic that it will cause a mass extinction event. I wish there was a way we could see what this continent would look like, and what sort of strange beasts would have adapted to this new environment, but unfortunately, we can only speculate.
Hey! Stop! Who are you? I'm going to infect you. He's going to replicate and come out. Forks. I've never seen these before. Whatever this is, it's serious. We might be getting infected now. I'll burn them out just in case while I make new antibodies. Seize the forks! I'm coming. Fork hands. Who wants COVID? Attack! Modern science!
does the cookie dough and cookie dough ice cream actually make good mini cookies? Time to dig out the cookie dough. Just kidding, I'm not gonna use my fingers like I did last time. I faced borderline frostbite and was publicly scrutinized, so I will be using a cookie dough strainer that I think sometimes people use for pasta too. I believe this is what most people would call a ripoff, but we will continue. Now the reason why this one is so small is just in case someone comments to make even smaller cookies. In you go. Oh, we could probably practice some gratitude while we wait. Today I'm thankful for eyelids for no other reason other than I think we'd look really creepy when we sleep. I am also thankful for chocolate. It is so good. What? Why'd you sigh? He's a little frustrated about an incident we had with the chocolate fountain the other day. They're done. This time I have a really good feeling about... Oh. Give it a try. Not good. Oh my gosh, is this how plastic is made? I can't tell if I'm on the cutting edge of science or plagiarizing Cookie Crisp.
This is the saw from a sawfish, but what part of the fish is it? I thought it was part of their mouth, but I was wrong. This smaller sawfish will help us answer our question. See that small, dark spot? That's one of the sawfish's eyes. And when we rotate it, look closely. Do you see that slit? That small, dark line? That's the sawfish's actual mouth. The saw itself is in the middle, in the nose area. So a sawfish's saw is kind of like a long, toothy nose. More importantly, if you had a nose like a sawfish, this is what it would look like.
Okay, so today I'm going to be doing something that I think is kind of gross. To get started, the first thing that I'll need to do is add some water to a beaker. Now the next thing that I'll need is a super stinky chemical called hexamethylenediamine. I'll add about 4.4 grams of it to the water, and I'll stir it until it all disappears. It's now all gone, and I'll move on to making the other solution that I need. This one's also pretty simple, and the first ingredient is something called cyclohexane. I'll add about 100 mils of it, and then I'll pour in the last ingredient, called adipoyl chloride. I'll mix this up a bit, and now I'm ready to do something nasty. To do this, I need to add 10 mils of each solution to a small beaker. I'll start with the stinky water-based one, and then on top of it, I'll carefully pour in the cyclohexane one. These two liquids aren't able to mix, and like water and oil, they stay separated. Now, all I need to do is use some tweezers. I'm able to pull out a gross slimy string, and if I wrap it on a glass rod, I can keep pulling it out. I really find that this looks pretty nasty, but it's actually just plastic. More specifically, it's nylon, and it's forming between the two liquids. I can keep pulling it until the chemicals run out, and I'm left with something that kind of looks like a cocoon. It's still full of water and cyclohexane though, and it's all soft and squishy. Now if I try pulling it apart, it's not actually very strong. This is because all the fibers are extremely thin and fragile. If they were a lot thicker though, like they are in clothing or in a fishing line, it would be a lot harder to do this.
They've been talking about the way I do
So that's a cervical biopsy. They take this thing, which absolutely in no way resembles a medieval torture device, shove him right up your right up into the lady fountain. and then calmly tear off pieces of your internal organs. And this they do without any sedation whatsoever. And you want to know the worst part of this entire video? It's not the fact that someone who went to medical school for 10 years thought we would all just smile and laugh at seeing videos of our internal organs being torn apart on TikTok. Anybody else love violent medical procedures? I know I do. It's the fact that you gaslit the entire comment section while demonstrating a violent procedure that you do without any numbing. Fuck you! How dare you? What in God's name is wrong with you? Whole bunch of testicle. See how far that goes.
I'm Professor Brian Cox. Join me as we test the limits of BBC's travel budget and explain this universe of ours while fitting in as many free trips as possible. This is... I'm in a hot place, dressed like a cool substitute teacher, talking about the sun, which is also very hot. See what I did there? Now I'm in a cold place, talking about a moon and the arse end of Jupiter, and I might even mention the importance of water, but I don't say water, I say H2O, because I'm an expert. Cut to spectacular visuals of some of the galaxy's largest entities, such as stars, black holes, and the egos of billionaires. Now for a metaphor even you can understand. If my mouth is a black hole and these cans are matter, then in a few hours I'll be more smashed than an atom in the Large Hadron Collider. Join me next time when the budget finally runs out and I ponder the existence of alien life. Thing is, if we do meet aliens, they'll just think we're assholes.
Les petites expériences, ça fait quoi de mettre du sel sur des glaçons? L'eau glacée c'est autour de 0 degré, jusqu'à là, moins 1,7 degré, 1,3, 1,2, c'est dans ces eaux-là. Si je rajoute du sel sur la glace, ça va faire fondre la glace, mais pas seulement. Pour faire fondre la glace, le sel doit pomper de la chaleur, sauf qu'il est sur de la glace, donc il pompe la chaleur d'un truc qui est déjà en dessous de 0 degré. Ce qui fait que la température chute brutalement pour atteindre moins 16 degrés. À cette température-là, tu peux transformer tout ce que tu veux en glace. Un avocat, le jus d'un citron vert, un peu de sel, poivre, du paprika et un peu de coriandre fraîche. Du guacamole simple. Guacamole glacé, glace de guacamole et sa tuile de parmesan.